everyone, my name is Emily and I'm a child therapist, and today I'm going to very briefly go over the growth and development of preschoolers. I'm going to cover general milestones during the developmental age and go over major developmental domains, and also look at some common challenges that can be experienced during this time. So, children are like small scientists. They are great observers, listeners, and they absorb and imitate the emotions, people, environment, and all surroundings all around them. And it is a very crucial and such important and beautiful time for play, imagination, exploration, learning, discovering, and so important, being nurtured. And preschoolers tend to range typically ages 2.5, the youngest, and go up to 5 years old right before they go off to kindergarten. And starting with social emotional development, generally they are very interested in new experiences and they love exploring environment, whether it's the classroom, whether it's a visit to the supermarket, or even a walk outside. They're going to be asking questions, they're going to be labeling, they're going to be interacting and engaging in very nice and amazing conversations. They enjoy play with varied toys, whether it's different textures in the classroom, etc. And they demonstrate interest in play with other children. So this is just beginning to emerge. They're also able to cooperate with other children. Again, another emerging ability. They are showing increased independence, increased imaginative and fantasy play. This is a big time where this is coming out, and I'm going to touch a little bit about that imaginative play and cognitive domain. And children are generally happy and content when they're not hungry, when they're not tired, when they're not feeling bothered, and of course when they're not hurt, right? Whether it's, for example, if they fell down and scraped their knee, for example, they're able to calm down very shortly after an upsetting event. And typically I'm referring to an event such as, again, they fell down and hurt their elbow, for example, whether it's ending their favorite activity or leaving a birthday party. Oftentimes they're able to calm down very shortly afterwards. And some very overall challenges with social emotional development in mind is that they're just beginning to understand autonomy. And what is that? Is that they're beginning to learn and gain self-control, and that they own things. So they might forget and have challenges around sharing, which we might see whether it's challenging with sharing at home or whether it's in the classroom. We might see some of that. And they're also learning new words, so it can be very challenging to express feelings and frustrations. And of course, keep in mind, many children develop at different pace and may not feel ready to interact with other children. Again, keeping that social emotional in mind, we do see children beginning to cooperate and interact with other children, especially in the classroom or at birthday parties. But then again, some develop at different paces. So what do they need? What can be so helpful is for us to be nurturing, to be understanding, and of course, patient and guiding them. Okay. Next here, with cognitive development in mind, we do see children, again, I mentioned this earlier, lots of fantasy and imaginative play. Children are so amazing at reenacting and even showing and being creative at showing their own experiences and desires. They play Dr. Kit, they'll be seen playing mommy and daddy, maybe with baby dolls or action figurines. So lots of interesting play during this time. And they begin to understand lots of these concepts of colors, numbers, letters, shapes, counting, and the concepts of same versus different. And all of these things, keeping in mind as I go throughout this whole presentation, they're learning this through play. A lot of play, interactions with others in the classroom, etc. They're also able to remember small parts of a story, and so reading is a big fun thing that we can do, even in the classroom as well. They're also approaching problems from a single point of view, where they understand things from their own perspective. And of course, they're now understanding short commands, whether it's 2 commands at once, etc. But some challenges that we can see is of course, difficulty with measurement, for example. So we're going to see lots of spills during snack time at meal or dinner time, although it can be a little frustrating, but these things are just emerging. And because they're so great at remembering what's so important to them, they may easily forget other things such as a classroom rule or a rule at home. So it's a great time is that during this time they're going to need guidance and reminders, whether it's a picture on the wall, a sign up, or verbal reminders. They really benefit from those, and they might have difficulty reversing an action when commanded no or don't do that. So for example, if a child is doing something that's undesired, for example, they're playing with a spill that's on the table, for example, we might say instead, something we can say is, let's try cleaning this up, right? Rather than don't do that, for example. So they benefit well from positive commands. And they don't fully understand right from wrong yet. So again, this is a time where they benefit so well from guidance and verbal input in their experiences. Communication and language. They're also preschoolers asking lots of questions as they're learning and growing. They're beginning to understand why questions and sentences. They're speaking in sentences of about 5 words or much more, 6 or 7 words, and their speech and articulation is growing much more clear, and so it's easier to understand even the speech by strangers, for example. And they're telling stories and able to maintain eye contact during social interaction. So we're seeing lots of growth here. And some challenges with communication in mind is that, again, keeping that social emotional piece in mind, is that due to limited verbal speech here, verbal skills, that they may resort to physical means of communication to express emotions, frustrations, and desires. So we might see some tantrums, we might see some upset facial expressions, affects during this time. And what can we do is that we can most certainly be so beneficial at helping these children by giving them words and putting words into their experiences, narrating and labeling emotions and experiences that's happened during play when we're playing with them, giving them new words. This is an awesome time where they're finally emerging all these different skills and cognitions. And coordination and movement. They are enjoying various ways to move and play. They're growing and discovering new strengths, whether it's physical, fine, gross motor, everywhere. They're also seen usually walking with heel-toe patterns and not on their tippy toes. They're able to walk mostly without bumping into things or people. They're walking and playing with much better balance and coordinating both fingers, hands during play. And some challenges here is that they may seem very active or have trouble staying still. For example, in the classroom or even at home, they have trouble staying still for long durations. They might have trouble staying still for more than 10 minutes, and that's okay. They need movement. And we can think about such awesome opportunities, whether it's in the classroom, they go to the playground, or even dancing in the school classroom, dancing at home, for example, taking a walk, and of course, keeping this time in mind, right? Whatever feels most comfortable to everybody, whether it's wearing your mask, going outside, taking for a walk, going for a family outing together, following safety procedures. Movement is so healthy and so important, where they can express all of these movements and energies in such healthy manners and fun, of course. And of course, everybody keeping in mind that all children develop at a different pace. So please, let's not compare or force children to do things that they are not ready to do. And that is it, everybody. A very brief overview of preschool development. Thank you so much, everybody, and until next time.